Nice.
Hello, ladies and gents. Jack here from Peach Guitars, very kindly joined by Alex as
Hello.
well, acoustic guitar specialist. And I'm very glad he's here, actually, because we're doing something today that we touched on, I think, a number of years ago now, when they first came out, the Fender Acoustasonic guitars. At the time, it was the only Acoustasonic guitar that existed. However, the tail end of last year, 2021, saw the introduction of, I guess this is the Player series version now of the Acoustasonic.
Player Acoustasonic.
So a lot more affordable, however, very, very similar,
Yeah.
as far as I could tell.
I mean, I've never played one before from the Acoustasonic range at all, American or Player until today. So I'm used to playing more traditional acoustics and more traditional electrics, really.
Yeah.
I had a go on an American one first today.
Mm-hmm.
Got the sort of Fender cheat sheet for it and familiarised myself with the controls.
Yep.
Read up on the differences. I was really enjoyed playing the American one. So, but then when I plugged this in, I was sort of saying to my colleagues, if they're both free of charge, I'd probably go for this one because it's a little simpler. So the spec is really similar.
So when you say simpler, you're referring specifically to the electronics.
Exactly. So it's a 3-way switch, and the American one had a 5-way switch.
Yeah.
So this was really easy to think of because for anyone who's not aware, this just functions as your normal volume control. But what sort of would normally be your tone control sweeps from a kind of A voicing to a B voicing. So kind of effectively you've got an A and a B sound on all 3 positions. So it was nice and simple on this one because when I'm on this, what would be like your neck position on the switch traditionally, with the tone rolled off, it was just supposed to be like a small body mahogany parlour, kind of. And then as you turn that switch up, that brings in the low end. It was supposed to simulate Dreadnought.
Yeah, and you can hear it's very pronounced as well.
It adds in quite a bit of low end. So that's like really simple. Then you're sort of just thinking small body and big body acoustic. When it was in the middle position, it's bringing in this pickup here, and you can kind of simulate either a straight acoustic, or as you bring this in, it blends the electric in with the acoustic. So for those kind of John Petrucci, you know, where he has like his piezo pickup and the I thought that was a cool sound. And I, again, having sort of no preconceptions of this guitar, I found it like, I like thinking of it just as an instrument in its own right, rather than like a replacement for an acoustic or a replacement for an electric. I can see myself using it with the volume off at home. It's got like enough volume that I could sort of use that for picking practice. I found it, you know, really pleasurable to play.
In fact, yeah, while you mention that, the actual acoustic sound of these, I think, is one of their greatest strengths. And I remember thinking that about the American guitars at the time. Didn't really get talked about, obviously, because of all the clever electronics being the main focus. But
it's enjoyable, isn't it?
If you don't play a lot of acoustic guitar, as I don't, this is familiar enough in terms of the feel, because pretty much, as far as I know, the same neck profile as the American guitar.
It is, yeah.
Which is very much like a standard Fender Tele.
But a nice, really nice feeling one, yeah.
Yeah, very comfortable, very nicely rolled, no sharp fret edges at all. And so when you marry that sort of familiarity with suddenly this sound, which isn't the best acoustic sound you'll ever hear, but
it can't be with those dimensions, but it's perfectly like enjoyable. It's like, it's just kind of like everything is kind of a lot smaller than it would be on acoustic, but it's still quite balanced. Like, you know, it's that low end still matches the higher strings for your sort of own pleasure.
Some of the other acoustic style guitars that are out there that focus so heavily on their electronics, they have quite weak actual acoustic sound.
Yeah, this is a patent pending sort of acoustic body design from Fender. So yeah, whereas on another guitar, equally good from a different brand, but just different design, where it might just be like a solid sort of body with no sound port, then obviously this is going to win in that
I know that's
aspect.
Not the reason anyone's going to buy one, but I just thought it's worth pointing out.
But for someone like myself, I mean, I'm pretty much just like a bedroom player. I just play guitar because I love it. I'm not really ever been much of a gig or anything. And just playing on this like today for the first time made me think, you know, it's tempting, because I think, yeah, for a start I could just use that for a little bit of practice just at home. It's just nice having like some roundness to the tone unplugged, you know.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I just like I was saying to you before we started filming, I'm just like sort of thinking of it, it's like a guitar in its own right, rather than trying to emulate an acoustic or emulate an electric. So when I was on this position here, where we're kind of like, it's not supposed to be representing the acoustic body anymore, you're just using the pickup. I mean, that's like... That's a nice sound, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it just doesn't sound like it's, you know, it doesn't, we don't have to sort of categorise, it's just a nice sound to practice on.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a Telecaster, obviously, but it sounds...
So this kind of acts, it's sort of simulating it going from a noiseless pickup, I think, to like a sort of fat 50s style pickup. So that kind of effectively just works as a boost on this setting.
But again, you blend it. It's not
Blend it any level you want,
cut and dry,
yeah. So there it is, backed off. Bring it in a bit. And that was useful in our jam at the beginning for when we just wanted a bit more. Like the kind of electric tones as opposed to when the other person was accompanying.
Yeah, it's a really nice sound. And just for context, we're both playing through a little AER, very small acoustic amplifier in here, and that's how you're hearing it as well.
Yeah, just direct out. Yeah.
And if that's your rig, you know, you could gig with that. You can play with it at home, like you said.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very pleasant sound.
I even tried earlier plugging it into a Friedman Runt amp, and I put the gain right up. And even for like someone who's like maybe more of a modern fusion or legato player, there was some cool sounds in there. And again on this clean, I was thinking not just for an acoustic player. I mean, we were using I was like trying to do some of the sort of more like modern player, like Tosin Abasi type, like picking practice on it upstairs, which obviously didn't go very well. But the tone wasn't letting me down. It's, yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's like really enjoyable guitar to do it on. Yeah. So because we mentioned the acoustic properties as well, this is the same for everyone watching. It's the same wood combination as the American one. So it's a solid Sitka A-grade spruce top and mahogany body. The same like neck contour on the back. So the only differences really are you got a 3-way switch as opposed to a 5, and it's sort of got 2 pickups rather than 3. And the fingerboard is rosewood rather than ebony, although you can see it's a lovely dark piece on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we've got an American one over there. The only giveaway is the neck plate that says where it was made.
Yeah.
I could not tell.
Yeah, I would take, I mean, I'm not knocking the American one at all, but being someone who kind of likes simplicity, I would go for this one myself.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree, not just because of the simplicity, but because we're getting on for probably 50% of the price as well, or certainly a good chunk.
Yeah, if you're someone who isn't looking like myself, who's not looking to take this out and gig with it and stuff, if you just want to dip your toe in the water of this kind of world and have one of these instruments to sort of tick a box in the guitar arsenal that you don't already have ticked, then this would be a cool way to do it.
Which it absolutely does as well. It certainly ticks a very unique box. And I think just having that extra affordability factor, for me, this is what it should have been all along.
Right.
In my opinion, the Acoustasonic should have been this from the start. And I've seen other people do great stuff with the full fat American one. You know, they sound great in other people's hands, but...
And I tried capoing it earlier as well. I'm doing a bit more like traditional acoustic stuff. That was nice as well.
Yeah, to me, that is what I would want an acoustic to sound like live, if you were going to gig it. But again, just direct into a recording interface or something like that. Very practical.
No feedback concerns.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, I never paid too much attention to it when it came along because I knew straight away it was out of my wheelhouse.
And I didn't have access to one before sort of coming here pretty recently and then trying these today, so I hadn't tried one either.
Yeah. But with a fresh perspective, and with the knowledge that it is more affordable, and legitimately, I can't tell the trade-offs between this and the more expensive guitar. I'm sure there is something. If you're more of a veteran acoustic player, you'll probably notice something, but to me, this is what I would need from this kind of style of guitar. Very, very happily. And the added simplicity as well, just 3-way instead of the 5-way.
I mean, you still got 3x2, still got 6 sounds on there as opposed to 10. And on the other one, when I was looking at the kind of Fender cheat sheet for the 5-way switch, it's simulating a lot of different acoustic guitar body shapes, woods. I prefer just to sort of, rather than think, oh, this definitely sounds like a D28 or this sounds like an M20 or whatever, I prefer thinking of it as, oh, that's a nice guitar tone. You know?
I mean, so you've already done a very good run through of each of the sounds, but I'll just play
Please do.
a couple of chords on each of the 6 settings, ignoring the fact that you can blend very kind of into, there's a lot of
They describe it as infinite possibilities.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go straight from A to B on each switch and just play a couple of chords, essentially, just to show you exactly what it does sort of back to back. So starting in position 1.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think that's I'd be hard pushed if I heard that on a record. I wouldn't really know what it was. You know, what is that, electric, or it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that sounded great, and that drive is built in, so sort of like they've designed it so when you're on the bridge pickup position with the sort of boost on, we're plugged into a clean acoustic amp, and that lovely kind of bit of saturation you were getting there, that's coming from the guitar.
It's not much, and I like that you can move from one sound to the next, and it's not like you're scrolling through presets or something like that.
It's not a big jump, is it?
It's a really nice sort of linked linear movement between the sounds.
Yeah, really impressed by them.
So I think that kind of sums it up, folks. If you want to find out more about these guitars, of course, there's plenty more information on the website, which will be linked in the description below. But hopefully Alex and I have kind of covered not only the basics of the model, but also the sheer value of this new, far more affordable player version as well. So
yeah, it's great.
I'm certainly, I would say, more impressed with this as a concept now. I think this is, like I said before, what it should have been the whole time. I don't know what you think, obviously, because you've only had experience from today. But
when I unboxed this earlier, my colleague who was working in the office with me, he thought it was the same as us, that he would have gone for the Mexican over the 2, and he used the same phrase as you. He thought that's kind of where it should have been to begin with. I'm not knocking the American one at all. But yeah, for me personally, the simplicity of this works,
Yeah. Well,
and like I say, the affordability.
Indeed. Double whammy. All right, folks, let us know what you think, though. Do you completely disagree, or do you agree with what we're saying? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this video, as always, please remember to like, remember to subscribe, and ring the bell if you're new here, and then you'll be notified whenever we post stuff in the future. But until next time, thanks a lot for watching. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
week.